you doing?
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Stars, congratulations. The
Thank
film
you.
is absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much.
You've just had this storied career playing all these fascinating characters, whether it's Pig or like Zandali. What was it like playing yourself?
It's the scariest thing I've ever done. Absolutely daunting. Biggest challenge I've ever had making a movie. I'm still recovering from it. It was a fine line because you can't hide behind a character because the character's name is Nick Cage. Didn't want to do anything that would humiliate my family, but I also had to facilitate the director's vision, and part of the director's vision was neurotic, anxiety-ridden Nick Cage is the best Nick Cage because he thinks it's the funniest Nick Cage. But there's a lot of differences. There's no version of so-called Nick Cage that doesn't want to spend time with his children. So anyway, it was a high wire act the whole time, but I think all of us together worked very hard on it. I think we accomplished what we wanted to.
I fully agree.
Thank you.
And a lot of the film was also about sharing your love of cinema with people you love.
Well, yeah, and I'll talk movies with anybody. I'll talk movies with people I don't know who say hello to me, and I'll take recommendations from anybody. And Pedro, who's magical in the movie and is a super nice guy, he loves movies, and we would just talk about movies off camera, and then they would say action, and we kept talking about movies.
Did he give you any recommendations?
He recommended some Spanish horror films, which I thought were terrific.
Well, if someone wanted to get to know more your taste, what are some movies you'd recommend?
Well, I went through a whole list. When I was in quarantine, I went back and reviewed all the Kurosawa films. The Bad Sleeps Well, The Bad Sleep Well is fantastic, Good Descendant. Then I looked at Ingmar Bergman, The Virgin Spring, Persona, Hour of the Wolf. And those were great viewing experiences. Plus, I enjoyed going through the charm of the old Hammer horror films as I prepped for Dracula.
So just give me some Peter Cushing any day and I'll look great.
Exactly, and Christopher Lee.
Oh, God.
We're in sync. Two of them together. Well, Shrek was pretty good as Orlok, though.
Yeah, totally solid. But also, did you draw on any of those previous influences in the creative process for the film?
For this movie?
For this one?
No. No, I didn't. I was trying to figure out how to present myself within Tom Gorman's vision and still not humiliate my family and have fun with it.
Well, it was honestly really fun. What made you want to present this homage to your work as both a character piece and an action movie?
No, I thought that this was a challenge, and I'm a big believer in that which you are afraid of, whatever, as long as it doesn't hurt yourself or someone else within reason, that's the very thing one should go towards, because as a student of film performance, I thought I might learn something and grow in some way, and it did challenge me.
Well, I'd say that challenge succeeded. Thank you so much. So you and Nicolas Cage have excellent chemistry in the movie.
Thank you.
How did you develop that chemistry?
I don't think it's necessarily chemistry that we developed. I think, one, it starts with really good characters that are written on the page, and then showing up for those characters. I am a huge fan of all of his work, and so I kind of just had to step into the skin of this character who was a big fan of Nicolas Cage. It was kind of, the work was really, really done for me, and then just trying not to screw it up from there is basically what was my goal.
Were there any of his previous films that really made you guys I want to work with this guy?
Yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of the early ones in the movie theater with my family. I remember Peggy Sue Got Married, Raising Arizona, Moonstruck, Vampire's Kiss, and then to top it all off, Wild at Heart in the movie theater with my parents. And from that point on, it wasn't long after that he got the Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas. I enjoyed Honeymoon in Vegas before Leaving Las Vegas.
Very different films.
Very different films. And so I've consumed a lot of his performances. They are in my system.
Well, it must feel amazing to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
It does. Thank you.
All right, have a great night. Well, Stars, congratulations. You did a fantastic job on the film.
Thank you.
Really good. What attracted you to the project?
It's definitely by far the funniest script I've ever read in my life. And I loved the absurdist elements, the meta elements, and the fact that it still felt so grounded and real, I think, through the relationships.
Absolutely.
And then the cast really brought that to life because they're all so lovely and talented. It was a really amazing experience.
Yeah, and one of the themes definitely in the film was how you share what you love, especially with film.
Yeah.
How do you also enjoy sharing movies with people you love? And so how do you do it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's definitely been a big part of my life forever, and I would definitely call myself a cinephile. profile. I think my movie recs maybe don't go down amazingly with most of my friends, but I think I have good taste. So,
well, like, what sort of films do you recommend, especially once you get to know your taste?
ooh, what sort of films I recommend? I love Ghost World, if you know that. I think that's a fantastic movie, great graphic novel as well. So that, I mean, you're putting me on the spot. They're all shooting out of my mind.
I had to, you know?
I know, that's the point of the thing.
Especially when it's a comic book movie, I mean...
Exactly, I had to.
And Nick Cage, so is there any film of his that made you realize, I want to work with him?
Oh, I mean, well, he really defined a generation of acting, I think, and that did kind of continue on into my upbringing. So I kind of felt like I grew up with him, and then when I came to a certain age, I could really appreciate his movies from like an acting standpoint. And probably the thing that really got me there was Leaving Las Vegas, which, I mean, that's like a masterclass.
It's like a haunting movie, I see.
Haunting, and it's like, it's so singular. You're never going to see someone else do a performance like that. It's amazing. So he's the master.
Well-deserved performance. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What made you want to get involved in the project?
Bueno, yo no quería al principio.
Well, I didn't want to at the beginning.
Oh, what changed your mind? Was
No,
hesitation?
because I don't speak English, but for me it's so hard playing in English. Okay. No. Pero preparé mi self-tape, un casting en inglés.
I prepared myself for casting in English.
Pareció divertido y el director me cogió. Digo, bueno, ok, ¿por qué no?
It was funny and the director chose me. Why not? Yeah.
Go for it. Was there any particular Nick Cage movies that really made you be interested in the project?
Si hay algunas películas de Nicolas Cage que realmente le interesó participar en este proyecto.
Si hay alguna película anterior de Nicolas
You are
Cage.
talking about some other movies with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, because the film was like an homage to his work.
Donde él actúa.
Claro, o sea, Nicolas Cage es una leyenda.
Of course, Nicolas Cage is a legend.
Pero para mí mi película preferida de todos los tiempos es Corazón Salvaje,
You know, Wild Heart? That's my favorite movie of Nicolas Cage.
Wild Heart is so amazing. David Lynch, just amazing direction.
También está magnífico en esa película.
Para mí actuar con él era muy raro porque
And
era...
for me to start with him, of course, it was something.
Did the film's also a lot about sharing your love of cinema with people you love? Do you also enjoy sharing your love of film with people?
Bueno, el cinema también, compartir con la gente su amor por películas, su amor por actuar. ¿Estás de acuerdo con eso?
Sí, esta película tiene mucho metalenguaje y mucho amor al cine, es un homenaje al cine también.
This movie has a lot of language, a lot of love for cinema, for movies. So this movie is special like that.
Okay, well, thank you very much. You were fantastic in the film.
Thank you so much.
What made you want to present like this love letter to Nick Cage in this style where there's a character piece as well as like an action movie?
Well, I think the trick for us was, Nick has done every genre of film kind of equally well. And part of the pitch to him was you get the opportunity to do each genre in the same project.
Yes.
So what started as like an indie character sort of drama or dramedy, like eventually became an action movie. And for us, that was part of the challenge as filmmakers.
And so much of the film was also about like sharing your love of cinema with other people, with people you love. How do you like to do that? How do you like to share films with people you love?
I mean, for me, part of it is writing, right? And I get to channel some things and influences that I have, especially on this film. But otherwise, we do a screening series with my friends. Yeah.
Any like particular film where like someone wanted to get to know your taste?
Oh man, there's a few things that inspired this film. There was Raising Arizona, an adaptation, Nick's films, and then I'm a big film of lots of sort of classic Eric Romer films from the kind of like French New Wave romantic comedies.
Thank you very much. I'm sure everyone's gonna love the film.
Thank you very much.
Of course. So what made you want to present or homage Cage's career in this fashion, where it's like a character study kind of mixed with an action movie?
I mean, I think Tom and I wanted to do it because we were just both huge fans growing up. I remember watching Moonstruck, one of my mother's favorite movies. Another one for me is The Rock. It's just a movie, if it's on, I won't turn it off. But it really is that when Tom and I were thinking of this idea, it just made us happy because Nick is a guy who really doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks about him. And like that kind of bravery as an artist, you just don't see it that much among big actors anymore. And so it was it just made us happy thinking about him and his choices.
How did you present Nick Cage with the film?
So we wrote the script first, hoping that, you know, maybe that would do it. But because we aren't people that have made a bunch of movies, you know, we didn't have a body of work that you could point to. So we wrote him a letter kind of explaining our intentions and explaining that it really was a love letter to him, to his work, and that if he did it, it would give him a chance to kind of play with people's perceptions of who he is and who they think he is and who he really is. And it was like this kind of big, it could be this big, like kind of, you know, performance art piece on a giant scale. That would be fun.
And the movies also seems to be about like how you share movies in general that you love with people that you love. Do you try to go out of your way to do that? And if so, how do you do it?
100% it's about movies and people who love movies and the way that we connect over films. And I mean, I don't know, like so many of my own friendships are based on shared love of films and TV shows. And it really is the thing where you go, if somebody doesn't like the thing that you like, I become weirdly judgy about.
It's like, I got to rethink of you as a person.
Yeah, I'm sad to say that is true on some level.
If you wanted like someone to gauge your taste in film, like what would you show them?
Oh man, you know, gosh, I would show them anything from, like, my favorite film is Rushmore, which is kind of a basic answer, but it really hits me on a no, it's true. It hits me on a deep level. Anything from a weird little comedy like that to like a big action films like, you know, Die Hard or something where you're just locked in and glued and can't turn away.
I'm very confident people will be sharing this film to get people on the Nick Cage train. So fantastic work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Considering this film is both like a character piece and sort of an action film too, how did that influence your work?
Well, for the character piece, we could be a little more stylized. You know, we made tribute to some of the great spaghetti western sounds. We have a lot of sort of the flamenco music of that passion of the Pedro Pascal and the passion of the Nick Cage character. But in the action, it's just hardcore, you know, bang, 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 bang.
Wild. Did you draw on any of Nick Cage's previous film scores for yours, since the film was homaging his career?
There's a few hints to previous Nick Cage films. I've scored 3 of those films myself, so I have some experience with the wide variety of things he's done.
Was that sort of what attracted you to the project in the first place?
I think it was just that diversity, and it's just the most clever script I've ever read.
It was hilarious. Do you have like a favorite Nick Cage film by any chance?
Well, I scored Bad Lieutenant for Werner Herzog with Nick Cage, so that's just such a fascinating event in my life to work with Werner Herzog and Nick Cage in a film like that.
Did you try to like sneak in Iguana on set by any chance?
We tried to sneak in a lot of things. There's a lot of hidden things in there. If you get the album, you'll hear.
Any hint you can sneak in for everyone?
Just listening to the opening track and then listening to somebody dies. I won't give any spoilers, but somebody does die, so you can listen in there.
Thank you very much.
Very well.